What is up, YouTube family? We are back at it again. Yo, I seen some shit these last couple of days that had me wanting to put my 2 cents on it and wanted to see how many people agree, because I wanted to get the story straight on this Dame Dash shit, right? Now, a lot of y'all probably seen this Dame Dash shit. Y'all know who Dame is. Of course, you know, him and Jay and Biggs started Rockefeller Records together. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions that need to be cleared up about that whole situation. So recently we've been seeing Dame doing all the, you know, trying to make a resurgence, trying to get popular again, trying to get his name back in the spotlight, because in my opinion, I think he's trying to do this social media thing because all his businesses have failed. Everything he's tried to do business-wise has been null and void. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he was supposed to be doing movies and TV shows and all that shit. What happened to the movies and shit? You ain't heard about none of that shit. The fashion, that shit is just gone. You know, any of the artwork or whatever he was doing overseas back in the day, the Euro connects he had, all that shit is gone. We ain't heard Dame Dash doing any kind of big business that's really popping ever since Jay left. He had a couple things here and there, but ever since Jay left this dude, he's been all downhill. And that tells you who needs who, because a lot of people be talking about, oh, Jay-Z wasn't shit until Dame can't introduce him to everybody. Let me tell you something. Anybody could have stepped in and managed Jay-Z and got Jay-Z. Like, if you that nice, right, you're gonna be heard. Somebody's gonna come along. If it wasn't for MC Search doing Nas, you think that Nas wouldn't have came out after that? If Nas was just, MC Search was just the first one to get him signed to a deal. You know what I'm saying? But if MC Search wasn't there, it would have been somebody else. It would have been Rakim stepped in. It would have been Steve Stout or somebody in, you know, would have came in and got Nas to where he needed to be, and probably would have been even better. Large Professor would have signed some. Nas would have still been Nas regardless of MC Search. Jay-Z would have still been Jay-Z regardless of Rockefeller, because he was that nice. Somebody was going to get him. You know what I'm saying? He was the talent. You cannot have a business like Rockefeller if there is no Jay-Z. If Jay-Z wasn't there, what the fuck was Biggs and Dame going to do? What kind of business was they going to do? Who was they going to manage? You know what I'm saying? Jay was the golden goose of that whole shit. And it moves further along, and then everybody knows what the story was. Jay-Z left Dame, and he totally split apart from him, business-wise and relationship-wise. Jay-Z is Dame Dash's godfather of his kids, and vice versa, I believe. Jay ain't give a fuck about none of that shit. He wanted to get away from this dude so bad, he was like, fuck that shit. Fuck being a godfather. You know what I'm saying? What did he tell you in the song? He said, should have stayed at food and beverage. Too much flossing. Too much Sam Rothstein. That tells you he was talking about Dame. Everybody knows this. If you've seen the movie Casino, you understand who Sam Rothstein was. He got too addicted to the limelight. He couldn't play his role. He couldn't play the food and beverage role. Dame couldn't play his role. He couldn't fall back. You seen the videos of Dame busting into corporate meetings and shit and talking shit. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else say, oh, well, he was fighting for his artists. There's a professional way to do things. You know what I'm saying? Even if he blew up at that particular meeting, you think that was the only time that he was talking like that? Go and listen to a Dame Dash interview. Matter of fact, go to YouTube and look up Dame Dash talks about diabetes. There's a video that came out about 2 weeks ago where he sat down with the young brother. I forget his name right now. I'll put the link in the description because this young brother is very intelligent. He's like the new Dr. Sebi or Dr. Sabi, however you want to say it. But he's like a health professional. You know what I'm saying? He knows a lot of different things about what you should be eating, how your body works. Very intelligent young man, very professional, very educated, well-spoken young brother. Well, him and Dame had a video. And if you go and watch that shit, the guy is trying to help Dame with his diabetes. And if you sit there and watch that video, it's very hard to watch. If you look at the comments, you will see everybody talking about this shit. They're going to be telling you, like, yo, it's amazing that this dude kept his composure, that he stayed professional, because this dude, Dame Dash, was a straight up arrogant prick the whole interview. He was insulting the guy. He was cutting the dude off, wouldn't let him finish his statements. The guy's trying to educate him and he's just cutting the dude off, talking all this stupid shit, all this dumb shit, all this shit he don't want to do. It's like he wasn't trying to hear dude at all. He wasn't trying to learn anything. He just wanted to, you could just tell that Dame's ego is still out of fucking control. It was a very hard thing to watch. It was very sad. It was really frustrating. But you could sit there and watch that one video. That's why I'm posting in the link. Because you could watch that one video and see that Dame Dash has not changed. He's that same arrogant prick from back in the late 90s, early 2000s when Jay was like, yo, I can't take this dude no more. He's the same dude. You can watch that one interview and watch all the other interviews too, and you can see it. This dude's ego is out of control. He cannot take any accountability for any of the shit that he did. And the crazy thing about it is, usually when you're looking at two different sides of a story, right? Or you're looking in a situation like this, or you're looking at two people bickering. All you got to do is look at who the people around them gravitate to more. You know what I'm saying? That's going to tell you who's really a good person or not. If it's split down the middle, then you can say, hey, they're both good people. But a lot of times you will see two people have a altercation or a miscommunication or a falling out, and then you will see majority of the people around them gravitate to one of the people. That tells you who is a good person, really, or who's a fair person, or who's a more likable person. When you look at Dame Dash's situation, you can see nobody's fucking with this dude. It's not like Jay and Tata and Biggs and everybody went with Jay, and then you still got State Prop and all of them still, and Kanye and them still fucking with Dame. No. None of them dudes are fucking with Dame. Even Cam ain't even really fucking with Dame like that no more. Cam is off doing his own thing. You don't see Cam and Dame, like they probably speak and shit, but you don't see him, you don't see them hanging with each other. You don't see Cam and Dame doing business together. How come you don't see Dame doing no business with nobody else that he used to kick it with? How come Cam and Dame ain't doing interviews and doing little side ventures, or you hear, oh, Cam and Dame is doing some Reebok shit, or Cam and Dame is doing some liquor shit, or Cam and Dame got a club or some shit. You don't hear none of them dudes doing nothing with Dame. Not the Young Gunners, not State Property, not Beanie Siegel, not Freeway, not Kanye, no nothing. Even Biggs, who Jay left at first, Biggs didn't go with Jay like Tata and them and Bleak and them did. Biggs kind of was doing his own thing for a minute. He was kind of in the middle of the split up because when they broke up Rockefeller, Jay had to split up with Biggs too, because he was part owner, right? You didn't see Biggs and Dame go do their own thing and say, oh, you know what, fuck Jay. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go do a clothing line, or we're going to go do some shit together. Nah. Biggs was doing his own thing. Now look, Biggs is with Jay. You know what I'm saying? He still went with Jay. And Dame is just over there by himself. That's why he's really pissed off. That's why he's so bitter, because everybody left him. And at some point, you got to look in the mirror, dude, and look back and say, yo, maybe it's me. Just maybe it's me. His ego is so crazy, he refuses to tell himself or even question or look at himself in the mirror and say, hey, maybe it was me. And that's when you know you got a real problem. Now, the other thing about Dame that I saw this week that was crazy to me was I saw him doing an interview with Math Hoffa, and this shit was crazy. He was on there talking about Kevin Hart. And I was trying to feel him at first because, you know, he's talking about, oh, I put Kevin Hart in his first movie and this and that. He's basically trying to make it seem like Kevin Hart owes him a favor or whatever. And I could agree with that to a degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was me, if I was Kevin Hart, I'm the type of dude, like, if you put me in my first movie, you know, I hit you off with like 50,000, maybe even 100,000, just to shut you the fuck up, just so that you can't say that I ain't never pay you nothing back. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you ain't gonna keep chasing me down for favors for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna just, if I ain't really fucking with you, or if you've been a nuisance and I've grown past you and I'm not really trying to get back and do nothing with you like that, I'll go ahead and break bread with you and hit you off something, you know what I'm saying, and be done with it. So I don't know what Kevin Hart has actually done for him in totality or whatever. He's done anything, but you see Dame, he's talking about Kevin Hart not reposting his shit. And he's just going on these rants and shit about Kevin Hart not reposting his shit on social media. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You a grown ass man. You 50-something years old, bitching and complaining about another grown man not reposting your shit online? You might as well be begging for food, my nigga. Like, who the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen a grown man bitch about not getting your stuff reposted. So then he goes on and says, he shows this video to Matt Hoffa where he caught Kevin Hart putting on some black Uggs and shit. And he's like clowning him and shit, talking like, basically calling him low-key gay or low-key feminine. Then he came out and talked about the little billboard where he's braiding Will Ferrell's hair. He's like clowning him on that. And deservedly so, right? Yeah, clown him on that shit, right? But how you gonna clown a man, calling him feminine and low-key gay or doing some gay things, and then expect him, you insult this man, and then expect him to do something for you, to do a favor for you, to repost your shit. Yo, has it ever occurred to you, my nigga, that maybe Kevin Hart ain't fucking with you? Maybe the reason he not reposting your shit is because he don't fuck with you. Like, that shit is crazy to me that Dame Dash can't figure this shit out. He's sitting up here like, yo, I fuck with Kevin Hart, this and that. I can't understand why he ain't reposting my shit. Maybe he ain't reposting your shit because your shit ain't repostable. Maybe your shit is corny. You asking him, you beg him you trying to get him to introduce you to his audience. Maybe you ain't worthy for that. Maybe your shit is corny. Maybe those little disses that you was sending his way, he took offense to that shit. Because he had every right to. You know what I'm saying? You know, in my opinion, he deserved to get clowned for that shit. But from his point of view, maybe he took that shit personal. Maybe he didn't like the way you was coming at him. You know, because when he was trying to go back at Dame, talk about his missing tooth and shit, Dame wasn't letting him come back at him. He was controlling the phone's situation. He was controlling that shit. So this whole thing with Dame begging for some attention, begging to be reposted, like, post my shit, dog. Like, yo, it really shows how low this man has really fallen from glory. You know what I'm saying? You went from being big boss executive talking shit to the big wigs, Steve Rifkin and I'm sorry, Steve Stout and you know, all the big wigs at Def Jam and shit. You over there talking shit to now begging Kevin Hart to be reposted on social media like a video or some shit. Like, my nigga, like, have you realized how far you fallen off? You realize how played you look right now? Imagine when Jay and Bleak and all these dudes see this shit. They gonna be like, yo, this dude's begging for likes, yo. This dude's begging for attention. He's begging for somebody to share his shit. Yo, how about you get your own shit popping, my nigga? Don't sit up here and ask nobody for nothing. You asking for this man for... Yo, when the last time you seen Jay-Z ask anybody for anything? Then the other thing that came out was crazy during that interview was... he comes out and says that he took his daughter to a Jay-Z concert and said that he could still call Jay-Z and get tickets sent to him carte blanche. I was like, yo, this dude straight left you on the block begging for scraps. And you looking crazy out here and you still gotta take your daughter to this man's concert. You gotta go and watch your daughter enjoy the dude that you in all these interviews talking shit about. He's in all, yo, he can't keep Jay's name out his mouth over the past couple years. Every interview you hear him talking, he's talking about this Jay situation. He can't let that shit go. You don't hear Jay saying nothing about that dude. He addressed it a couple times in a couple songs. He's done with it. This dude Dame can't let that shit go, yo. And now you got to take your daughter to a Jay-Z concert. And you got to listen. You got to sit there and watch her enjoy all them good hits he made without you. You got to listen to the old songs that he did when you were there and reminisce of how it used to be. And watch him make millions and millions off of all these songs that he owns the masters to now, that he snatched from you, that you used to own. But because you couldn't handle your business, because you couldn't humble yourself, and because you couldn't get with the program like everybody else did, you out here begging for leftovers, begging for food. It's sad, man. Dame, get your shit together, man. You're looking crazy out here, my nigga.